And starting off, one man is dead following an overnight shooting in Brampton. City News reporter Faiza Amin is joining us live from the scene with more details on this. Faiza, what can you tell us?
Well, Tammie, it happened here on Peter Robertson Boulevard, just at Dixie Road, and you can see it's quite the police presence at this hour. Homicide investigators at the scene. A number of businesses are now behind yellow tape. That includes a gas station here in Esso. There is also a bus stop where cameras also spotted police markers, and a Tim Hortons, along with a shopping plaza, Woodsmere Shopping Center, all behind police yellow tape this morning as homicide investigators have taken over this scene. We do know that one adult male victim was transported to hospital in life-threatening condition where he later died. Peel Police getting this call for a shooting shortly before 1 a.m. today. Now, as for suspect information, police are only saying that there is one suspect who did flee the scene in a red vehicle. We are standing by for a spokesperson from Peel Police to arrive at the scene with more details here. And as Steph mentioned, also be aware of some of the road closures here, particularly on Peter Robertson Boulevard at Dixie. Tammie.
All right, thanks very much, Faiza. Hundreds of teens will be learning remotely starting today after Toronto Public Health shut down an Etobicoke High School dealing with a COVID-19 outbreak. Local health officials say they've identified several cases at Silverthorne Collegiate over the weekend, along with the possibility of potential exposures at multi-grade school events. Contact tracing is underway to identify all students and staff in the affected classes and activities. Now, we are live just outside of Silverthorne Collegiate in Etobicoke this morning. It's not clear when students will be allowed back into the classroom. This is the first COVID-19 related school closure for the TDSB so far this academic year. Meantime, a new Canadian-wide survey shows most people are concerned about the spread of COVID-19 in schools. 81% of respondents say that their kids older than 12 were vaccinated, but 70% of them said they're still worried about the spread of the virus in schools in their area. 78% also supporting wearing masks in schools. 1,000 people took part in the survey done by the Canadian Hub of Applied and Social Research at the University of Saskatchewan between September 3rd and September 28th. The survey had a 3.1% margin of error, plus or minus 19 times out of 20 nationally. Well, starting today, long-term care staff at several homes across the country must be fully vaccinated. Chartwell, Extendicare, Responsive Group, Rivera, and Sienna all announced new policies back in August. Staff across the country who are not fully vaccinated as of today will be placed on unpaid leave. Each operator says vaccination rates within long-term care homes are very high, and they do not expect a significant impact on staffing levels. Later this morning at 10, Ontario's Minister of Long-Term Care, Rod Phillips, will be making an announcement in Vaughan. You can follow along with that story at citynews.ca. Nurses in Quebec could have their licenses suspended if they are not fully vaccinated against COVID-19 by the end of this week. The Order of Nurses of Quebec announced yesterday it will suspend the practice permits of its unvaccinated members starting Friday. This comes as the province mandates vaccines in the healthcare sector, also starting Friday. Those who fail to get their shots face suspension without pay. The group says over 4,000 members have not been properly vaccinated, and the status of close to 6,000 still unknown. Canadians with 2 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine will soon be able to visit the U.S. when new travel regulations come into effect, but it's still unclear if mixed doses will be making the cut. Starting next month, the U.S. is allowing international travelers as long as they are fully vaccinated. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says travelers who are fully vaccinated by shots approved for emergency use by both the World Health Organization and the U.S. Food and Drug Administration will be permitted to travel to the U.S. More than 3.9 million Canadians have 2 different doses. Global Affairs Canada says it's working to advocate for the recognition of our country's vaccination strategy. Elections Canada will conduct a full judicial recount in Toronto's Davenport riding today. The recount was requested by NDP candidate Alejandro Bravo, who narrowly lost by just 76 votes to the Liberals' Julie Zerowitz. Now, the result was so close during the federal election, it almost triggered an automatic recount. But Davenport's not the only riding seeing a recount. The Liberals also gained a seat in Quebec after defeating the candidate's Bloc Québécois rival by just 12 votes in a recount last week. Well, the first ever pill to treat COVID-19 could soon hit the market, but it comes at a seriously steep price. Mike Eppel tells us how much it's going to cost you. That's coming up in Business Next.